It started as one of those aimless weekend drives. There were four of us, me, Dylan, Sarah, and Matt. We didn't have a destination, just a tank of gas and the urge to get out of town for a while. The sky was overcast, and the two-lane highway stretched ahead like a ribbon disappearing into nowhere. We'd been driving for maybe 2 hours when we saw it. The sign. It was old, metal, leaning slightly to one side, faded white letters against chipped green paint. It read, Cold Creek, 6 miles. The strange thing? None of us had ever heard of Cold Creek. Dylan frowned. He's the type who knows every little back road in the county. That's weird. Cold Creek's not on any map. I've never even heard of it. Maybe it's one of those ghost towns, Sarah suggested from the back seat. Matt leaned forward. Come on, 6 miles. What's the harm? I hesitated. Something about the sign felt off. But Dylan had already slowed down, his curiosity piqued. He turned onto the narrow road that stretched into the woods. That's when everything started to change. The pavement immediately gave way to rough gravel. Trees closed in from both sides, forming a kind of tunnel that swallowed the sunlight. The deeper we drove, the quieter it got. No birds, no wind, just the crunch of tires on stone. After about 15 minutes, we realized something strange. We hadn't passed a single house, mailbox, or even another car. Just endless forest. Are we sure this is even 6 miles? I asked. Matt checked his phone. No service. Weird Sarah leaned against the window. Guys, are you noticing how the trees look? They're all the same. She was right. It was like the forest was repeating itself. A copy-paste of nature that felt unnatural. Finally, we saw another sign. This one rusted almost beyond recognition. Cold Creek, 2 miles. We kept going. And then, just as suddenly, the trees broke. We rolled into what looked like a small town, but not like any town I'd ever seen. The streets were cracked, weeds bursting through. The houses lining the road were all the same style, squat, gray, with boarded windows and roofs sagging under years of decay. Yet strangely, everything looked frozen in time. Parked cars sat at odd angles, doors hanging open, as though the drivers had left in a hurry decades ago. We drove deeper, past an old diner with shattered windows, a gas station with rusted pumps, a church whose steeple leaned like it was about to collapse. And then we saw it. A figure. At the end of the street, standing perfectly still, was a man. His clothes were old-fashioned, suspenders, a white shirt stained with age. He didn't move, didn't wave, didn't even seem to breathe. He just stared at us. Turn around, I whispered. But Dylan, ever the stubborn one, muttered, Let's just see. The man didn't flinch. His face. God, his face. It was pale, too pale, with eyes that seemed sunken deep into shadow. As we passed him, Sarah gasped, Guys? Look, there were more of them. Figures, standing on porches, at windows, in the middle of the cracked road. Men, women, even children. All dressed in outdated clothes. All staring at us with the same hollow, lifeless expressions. None of them moved. The silence pressed down on us, suffocating. Dylan's knuckles turned white on the steering wheel. Okay, we're leaving. But when he tried to turn the car around, the road behind us wasn't there. Where the road should have been was nothing but forest, thick, endless trees stretching as far as we could see. That's impossible, Matt stammered. We just came from there. The figures started to move. Slowly, jerky, like puppets being forced into motion. Go, I screamed. Dylan floored it. We tore through the town, past houses and shops, past the lifeless faces turning to watch us. The road ahead stretched longer than it should have, the town never seeming to end. And then, without warning, the car sputtered. The engine died. We sat there in the middle of the cracked street, the silence broken only by our panicked breathing. The figures drew closer, their footsteps echoing unnaturally loud. Sarah was crying now, whispering, "This isn't real, this isn't real." One of the figures, a woman with tangled black hair and a torn dress, pressed her face against the passenger window. Her eyes were empty sockets. Her mouth opened impossibly wide, but no sound came out, just the smell of rot flooding the car. We screamed, scrambling to lock the doors, but the locks clicked open on their own. One by one, the figures were at the doors now, their pale hands reaching, clawing. And then, nothing. I woke up in my bed. For a moment, I thought it had been a nightmare, until I checked my phone. There was a new photo in my gallery, a photo I didn't take. It was the four of us, sitting terrified in the car, surrounded by the figures of Cold Creek. And in the corner of the photo, barely visible, was the same green road sign. Cold Creek, 6 miles.